Dozens of Russian state media channels and propaganda outlets broadcast to the occupied territories in eastern Ukraine, as well as other parts of Donetsk and Luhansk regions. UATV was one of the few Ukrainian outlets available. It was watched both by soldiers and civilians.
These soldiers who watched us on the front line did not pay attention to the language of our broadcasting. Some of them even watched news in English. There are many soldiers fluent in English.
When the channel was launched on October 1st, 2015, it broadcasted in Ukrainian, Russian and English. Later, it was expanded and launched UATV Arabic and Crimean Tatar.
Hello, my name is Alexander Kiri. You're watching UATV News in English.
Украина в фокусе новостей на UATV. В студии Дарья Вершиленко. Здравствуйте.
Ассаламу алейкум ва рахматуллах. Нушрат al-Akhbar.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bu UATV.
Over the course of 4 years, UATV was connected to almost 400 cable networks and broadcast to nearly 30 countries in Europe, North America, Asia, Africa and the Middle East.
The concept of UATV is to convey information about what's really happening in Ukraine to the world, in particular Arabic-speaking countries, that it's not a civil conflict in Ukraine and not some disagreements between politicians, that it's a real aggression by Ukraine's neighbor.
One of the most exciting and newsworthy moments that I can remember is what happened in the Kerch Strait when the Russian Navy attacked and captured Ukrainian vessels and Ukrainian sailors. We were the first to get commentary from Ukrainian officials in English to the world.
UATV's war correspondents covered exclusive stories from the front line in eastern Ukraine. They reported about the lives of those who returned from the front line. Along with Ukrainian veterans, Anastasia Fedchenko conquered Hoverla, the country's highest mountain.
You can see the military that climbed the highest peak of Ukrainian Carpathians, which is 2,061 meters above the sea. Though they have prosthetic legs, I shared the truth with the world that Russia unfolded the war against us. The Russian aggressor invaded the territory of Ukraine.
British instructors I spoke to last year, they said actually they were learning from the Ukrainian soldiers. So it's not just them teaching the Ukrainians, it's also the other way around as well, and how this benefits both countries.
UATV's parliamentary correspondents covered firsthand the most important sessions.
За 279 рішення прийнято.
You can't even imagine what an honor it was for me to report in particular to our Russian audience about the voting of the Ukrainian parliament for the official military greeting. As the Russians call it, the Nazi slogan, "Glory to Ukraine." I had goosebumps when the MPs were voting for it.
And now the cadets of the National Academy of the Security Service of Ukraine are greeting the minister.
Commenting on these very parades became a real challenge for UATV English news presenter Olis Garjuk.
It was live. The parade was lasting for about 3 hours. So I was sitting in a dark room for 3 hours with my microphone being switched on the whole time. So I couldn't drink. I couldn't have a sip of water. I couldn't breathe loudly. I couldn't cough, but I wanted to.
This was not the only challenge Olis recalls. Last year, at the Ukraine Reform Conference in Canada, he and his colleague Antonin Antosha conducted over 30 interviews in just 2 days. Another news anchor, Carrie Oderman, had a chance to interview the US ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland.
The three amigos are Secretary Perry, again Ambassador Volker, and myself. And we've been tasked with sort of overseeing the Ukraine-US relationship.
Eventually, this talk was quoted by CNN, The Washington Post, and The New York Times.
The question I asked seemed like a pretty innocent question. What brings you to Ukraine? It was his answer and his choice to share with us that President Trump had given him the mandate to be a special envoy of sorts here in Ukraine that then became very, very relevant in the depositions leading up to the impeachment.
UATV stops updating news on January 13th. Instead, the Ukrainian government decided to launch a new TV channel for the occupied territories.
I clearly understand that I do not want to say goodbye to our audience. I only say see you soon, because I am sure that each of the viewers appreciates what we are doing.
Without UATV and without English language content about Ukraine going out into the world from Ukraine, you could potentially have aggressive narratives from aggressive countries being put out about Ukraine to the world. And that's what I don't want. That's what I don't want to happen.
So, from the whole team at UATV, thanks for watching.